Jeffrey Dahmer, the monster behind an ordinary face. Imagine living next door to a quiet, polite man who always greets you with a small smile every morning. No one knew that behind his apartment door were the remains of 17 human lives. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most horrifying serial killers in American history. Jeffrey Dahmer was born in 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From the outside, his family looked ordinary. But inside the house, conflict between his parents was constant, and Dahmer grew increasingly withdrawn over time. As a teenager, he began showing disturbing tendencies, dissecting dead animals, collecting their bones, even preserving parts of them in jars. While his peers were busy with typical teenage life, Dahmer was sinking deeper into a dark world he built entirely on his own. He also developed a dependence on alcohol at a very young age, a habit that stayed with him well into adulthood. In 1978, shortly after graduating high school, Dahmer committed his first murder. A young man he brought back to his home became his first victim. After that, Dahmer lived what looked, from the outside, like a normal life, working at a chocolate factory, living alone in a modest apartment. But beneath the surface, something far darker kept growing. Over the next decade, he continued his crimes, with a pattern that grew increasingly organized and increasingly disturbing. Dahmer typically approached victims at nightclubs or other public places, luring them back to his apartment with promises of money or some simple pretext. What made this case so deeply unsettling to the public wasn't just the number of victims, it was what he did afterward. He kept body parts in his apartment, some in the refrigerator, some preserved in chemical solutions. Neighbors occasionally noticed a foul smell coming from his unit, but Dahmer always had an explanation ready, and people around him tended to believe him. 1991 marked the end of this long reign of terror. One victim managed to escape his apartment and flag down a passing police car. When officers entered Dahmer's apartment to investigate, they found a scene that shook even seasoned law enforcement. Evidence of more than a dozen murders carefully stored inside the room. The news sent shockwaves through America, and soon the entire world. At his 1992 trial, Dahmer pleaded guilty to a series of murders. He was sentenced to life in prison rather than death, since Wisconsin does not have capital punishment. But street justice came faster than anyone expected. In 1994, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate while serving his sentence, quote, ending his life just 2 years after his conviction. What makes the Dahmer case so haunting isn't just the number of victims, it's how long he managed to hide behind the mask of an ordinary person, a polite neighbor, a quiet factory worker. This case remains a chilling reminder. Sometimes the most terrifying monsters aren't the ones lurking in the dark, but the ones walking among us every day, completely unnoticed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more viral true crime stories next week.